want me to sit here and click for you? It won't move.
Okay,
But I can do
yeah,
that.
because I'm more, I don't know, I'm
Sure.
used to standing on this side. All right, everybody, my name is Sarah Brodd. I work at DeKalb County Extension. And today I want to talk a little bit about annuals and perennials. Just to let you know, there are thousands of perennials out there, maybe not even annuals, so I'm not going to go through every perennial that will ever grow into a goat. I'm just going to go over some of the basics that you might have. I kind of like my presentations to be interactive, so if you have some of these in your yard and you just want to tell me a little bit about it, go ahead. So, and ask any questions you might have.
Hold on one second, Sarah, excuse me.
Okay.
But please keep them generally about plants. No questions about what's in your own yard, okay? Promise?
Yes, no personal questions. We have that same dilemma when we do our metro training. So, but if you have any input to add to it, obviously I don't have every annual or perennial in my yard from my own personal experience, but I live close to Lenox, so my yard is like a little standard size. So, all right, this is the first. Oh wait,
Oh,
I'm gonna go back. Okay, annual. We're gonna go through annuals first. Of course, those they complete their life cycle within 1 year. Most importantly for annuals, they give you that instant color. Something if you need, you have a lot of shrubs that just are evergreen, but you want some color, annuals can do that. Also, some years I tried out different annuals, they didn't work, then I know I can rip them out and the next year do something different, so it's not permanent. All right, they add value to your landscape, like I said, if you just want that instant color, they're great for that. They can do contrast. I like to play different colors off each other. I have a very dark, almost purpley brick, so those chartreusey colors and things like that do really well in my yard because they kind of play off each other. Pop. All right, so unfortunately, if you have a lot of shade, a lot of times that limits the annuals that you can plant. Most are full sun, but we have more, shady ones coming out on the market now. Shade, part shade. I like to, even though I can kind of stretch the limit with some of mine, they might say shade, but I'm like, if I get just some morning sun, they might be okay. So, almost any location you can. All right, so they can add attention. I like this, how they have these annuals right here. They kind of guide your eye. They have them around the tree. It kind of brings a little focal point so your eye kind of goes that way with these annuals on the borders. All right, these, obviously you don't really want to draw attention to this. I know they're not in bloom. This looks like kind of like a fall winter scene, but as these get bigger, they can kind of shield that from you so you don't just, immediately go to that. All right, this is a really pretty picture. Obviously the pinks and the reds. Mix them up so they're not so monotonous, and then lots of different beds and stuff. This just seems like maybe they had a space that didn't do real well, so they just did a nice little perennial annual planting bed right there. All right, season extenders. These would be more like your mums and things like that. They don't last quite as long as a regular annual, but as some of them start getting scraggly towards the end of the summertime, you know how that looks. You can put these in and they just, pop in the landscape. All right, so you have your warm colors and your cool colors. Like cool colors work a little, some warm and cool, you can put them together, but sometimes you want to just do some warms and then some cools together, or you can play them off of each other. So warm colors, those would be your reds and yellows and oranges and things. They say they create excitement in your landscape. Your cools would be your greens and violets and blues. They can do a little calming effect. If you go to spas, a lot of times it's like a very nice, calm blue-green color and keeps you. All right, backgrounds. So this would be your sweet potato vine, and that is I think it's the Homestead Purple Verbena. It's a nice little backdrop. Like I said, this chartreusey color plays well with this one. So since this is mostly green, it looks kind of like a golf course. These really stand out with all the green they have going on in the background instead of just plain, evergreen wherever you look. All right, like I said with the other one, it's a nice sweep. If you all ever do this in your landscape, have a bed and just have a nice sweep of color. It really kind of draws your eye to it and just it looks a lot nicer. So. All right, so some of these hardy annuals we're going to talk about. They can tolerate a little more frost and freezing weather, which is what we're kind of going through right now. Would be some snapdragons. I feel like snapdragons do great in the beginning, and then they do great in the end, but like right now, I mean, our temperatures are a little strange right now. They just don't do real well. So to me, they might be something I'll put at the end of the winter season, or I'll put them at the beginning, and then I'm going to take them out. So these are obviously some violas or Johnny Jump Ups, whichever you want to call them. They like it in the 60s and the 50s during the day. My pansies this year, they were looking amazing in December because it was warmer. Now they're really leggy, and they, if it gets really cold, they come out in my pot. The ones in my containers just look terrible. So a remedy for that is to give them some water. A lot of times that wind really drives them out, so they might pop back up by the end of the day. But we've just had such a warm winter, and then we'll just have a drastic change in temperature. So, but they like it a little cooler. I always feel like when we have a normal winter, they look great in April, and then it's time to rip them out and put in your summer ones. So. All right, warm season annuals. There's so many to pick from. They like it warmer. Marigolds, they can take the heat. Definitely, if you have some west sun or south-facing part of your house, these would be great. So. Okay, so examples, these are your zinnias. They say they can also be in the perennial side because you plant them from seed and they can last, and sometimes they come back. Have you ever had that? Mm-hmm. But they also have some other zinnias now that are more on the annual side. Okay, vegetative annuals, those would be more like your coleus, sweet potato vine. Coleus, you have to take from cuttings. You don't ever see coleus seeds out there. So, but you can I remember when I was in college, we would take them and graft them on the other ones, and those were all the ones we used in our botany labs. So. Invasive annuals. So they like to reseed themselves. I don't know if y'all have ever gone through this. Cosmos, any of those. It doesn't happen in everybody's yard, but if I have those seeds and I let them go to seed, which is why they come back, you'll most likely have them the next year. The same thing happened to me with marigolds, though. Had them all around my tomatoes. I just let them go to seed, and they came back, which actually worked well. All right. Have any of y'all ever been to Bouchard Gardens in Victoria, British Columbia? I took this picture this past August. You look at all this color, what was amazing to me is most of this is annuals. So if you ever get a chance to go up to Vancouver and take the ferry out there, definitely worth your while. It's one of my bucket list items that I crossed off, but this was all annuals. And then if you go to one part of the garden, you can look down and see that they were growing all their stuff for the fall and winter. So this is almost on the very end of their summer, but I was just amazed at how much time it took to plant all of these annuals. But it's beautiful, so. All right, so sizing, that's one thing. We get our plants at, the garden centers, and they're pretty, nice little size, and you think they'll just be that size the whole season. Well, that's not true. So you need to take that into fact, especially like, your ones that will sweep down and things like that. They're going to get a lot bigger. So it's always something you need to look at before you plant them. All right. You can grow annuals from seed. Most of the time I just throw them in the ground if I do want to grow them from seed, but some people like to start them indoors. So you can do your plugs, get your grow light. I'm probably going to start growing some basil and things like that indoors in March. It's not necessarily an annual, but it's an herb annual, so. All right, these are tomato plants, but established annuals, that's mostly what I do. I just go to the store and already growing for me, makes it a lot easier. And I can kind of see what they're going to look like when they bloom, so. Okay, different containers. This is obviously cute, like a little birthday party, a little wagon for you. Different containers can really change it up and mix it up. So look for different ways to plant things in different places and different containers. All right, so good drainage. I know you all see containers and they don't have any holes in the bottom. That's terrible, you don't want to do that. A lot of them, if they're not clay or the pottery type, I would just take my screwdriver or my drill and drill them in the bottom for me. So just because it doesn't have them, and if it's not some sort of clay, then I can put them in there myself. So. All right, so when you do plant them in containers, you want some good potting soil. I always add a little bit of sand to my containers, especially with my herbs and things like that, just so to make sure they'll drain really well. That's what I like to do, just for the drainage and stuff. And you want to, of course, leave some space between the bottom and the top of the soil. So. All right. So this here, they have their ivy and they have their pansies going on, and these, of course, these would be permanent. They look kind of like a little small arborvitaes, but they're really nice because they add that color instead of just having a cold green container. Look at these. This is coleus. I think that's celosia, and look how well this yellow goes with the red. All right, planting in beds, this can be a little more time consuming than your containers would be. You definitely, because we have such terrible soil here in Georgia, you definitely want to till that soil up, add some amendments to it. They say 2 to 4 inches of organic matter, you can get away with a little bit less. This is at the New York Botanical Garden. So your well-drained amended soil, compost in there. When I'm doing beds, I do a little bit. Do you ever see those like $2 bags of soil? That's what I do. I just put those down, and then I'll put the good stuff on top and mix it in. So you don't have to spend so much money if you have something with terrible soil or a raised bed. I do that for my raised beds. I fill the bottom with that cheap stuff, and then I put a lot of good stuff on top, mix it up, and then you can save some money that way. All right, so if you are doing a planting bed or a landscape bed, try to mound it up. That helps with drainage and things like that, so you don't get puddles of water mixed in there. And then mulch. You want at least a light layer of mulch. I try to mulch my annuals in the fall a little bit better to try to save them from any of those freezing temps. You also mulch that lets them drain. Pine straw works. Pine straw to me, unless you tuck it in, it kind of gets all over the place. But I'll just, the mulch is a little thicker, I'll just do a little thin layer of that at least. So it's your preference, really. All right. So again, the really heavy mulch, it can hold too much moisture in. So be wary of that and try to plant it. Just have it come up to the base of your stem. You don't want it to get all over it, just like regular planting shrubs and things that can introduce insects and things into your plant. So this is easy stuff. I'm sure you all have done that. Hold it by the stem, put it in the ground, you know, kind of put the soil to the bottom of the base of it, and then just ferment it. So how many of y'all have planted animals? I'm sure. So this is easy stuff for you all. So I just have to go over this until we get to fun stuff. So
we need one easy class.
Yeah. Irrigation, of course, do not overhead water. That is definitely a way to get them to introduce any sort of diseases into them. Water by the base of your plants. This is a no-no. You do not want to do it this way. Same goes for your vegetables and everything else that you ever water. Do some drip, do it by the base of the plant, do not overhead water. So, and like this seems to be blasting those daylilies right there. There's nothing worse than knocking all the flower buds off because the water is going so strong. So, and you want to water in the morning or very late afternoon so the water just doesn't evaporate. Okay, fertilization, it's up to you how you like to fertilize, organic, inorganic, but I usually put some osmocote with them when I first plant them, a little bit of fertilizer, and then I'll come back about 4 to 6 weeks and fertilize them again. So, 10-10-10, whatever you think. Now, before you fertilize, what do we always want to do? Soil test. Now, with your containers, you don't necessarily have to do that, but if you're going to do it in a planting bed, then I would recommend you do that. So. Deadheading. I'm sure if you have petunias, you're deadheading all summer long. Different things. It helps, get them to reproduce when you deadhead. Trimming. I like to do this especially for coleus and things like that to get them a little more bushy instead of leggy. So I'll just kind of trim off some different shoots here and there to make them get a little bit bigger. All right, so they talk about the root to shoot ratio. This is where you want more roots to shoot. So if you trim off, a lot of this goes with, like, for me, tomatoes. When I'm doing my tomatoes, if I just have one stem that's not going to produce any tomatoes on it, then I'll just clip that off. To me, it's more airflow in there, and it's kind of like a dead shoot for me. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to produce any flowers or tomatoes. So, and it's better to have more roots to keep them grounded than to, just send all their water to some stems that aren't really useful. All right, so now we're going to go into some of my favorite summer annuals, Celosia. I love this. It comes in many different colors. Seems to be a little more drought tolerant. At the end of the season, if you're into flowers, you can dry them and hang them. So many different colors. Dusty Miller, I use this in the wintertime and in the summertime. Some of my ones I planted in the summer lasted all the way through the winter. So for me, this is like a year-round plant. I love this stuff. And it has, that nice silver foliage, and you can pair it with a bunch of different colors. So. This one, I don't see this as much anymore. Do y'all see this out? So it's compact, kind of grows well. It's also a little drought tolerant. I just don't see it out on the market so much anymore. This is my favorite. It's kind of like, gives me that Dr. Seuss feel, nice little kind of gumdrop type thing. It can grow pretty tall, so you're going to need an area that can have some height. Also, great cut flower, takes the heat really well. I like this flower. Marigolds, multi-purpose. They help keep insects away. Well, that's kind of, sometimes it does. I always plant them around my tomatoes, plus the red. The tomatoes go well. Can take your hot temps for sure. They are just, to me, an all-around winner. And they have different, versions of them now, some a little fuller, some of the traditional, so lots of different ways to use your marigolds. And grow really easy from seed, so don't even bother buying them already out there. Ornamental peppers. These have just been coming more and more on the market. I love these. Love ornamental peppers. Have y'all seen the black pearl ones with a really dark, almost black foliage? They come out and they're red and then turn black. Black pearl, y'all haven't seen that ornamental pepper? Reminds me of like the ship in Pirates of the Caribbean. I might have to pull that up somewhere. So, oh, here it is, right here. This is the black pearl ornamental pepper. You can see it starts to turn red and then it goes black. So that's an interesting one to have. If you haven't seen it, it goes great against brick or anything. So this one I love. It kind of reminds me of Christmas lights. Petunias, an old-time favorite. I love petunias, especially the ones they have out that have the stripes in them, nice. appeal. So you just have to, of course, take off the dead blooms. So. Now, verbena, I used to live in a condo that got southern and western exposure, so it was so hot in the summer, and that homestead purple up there did amazing. Loved it. You know, on my porch, it took everything, and especially in some hanging baskets that didn't hold a lot of moisture in, that verbena did well. I haven't had as much luck with the red, but they can take some drown things. So. Zinnias. So the ones up top right, I think are more of the annuals, newer a little bit. This is the ones that you traditionally grow from seed. Great pollinator, if you ever are interested in pollinating gardens. Zinnias do great. Attract all kinds of butterflies and bees. Super bells, they're kind of a little version of petunias. I feel like I don't have to deadhead them as much. Little mini flower, seeds tolerant, one of my favorites. All right, some shade plants. Who all in here has shade? That's what I've noticed. When I moved to Georgia, y'all don't have to cut down as many trees and, wipe it clean in the neighborhood. So I've noticed a lot of my talks I've tailored to shade plants because I know so many people that have no sun. So. All right, begonias, these can take some sun. I have begonias because I have morning sun in my front yard, and then they get shade in the afternoon, so they do really well. So they don't get that hot heat or whatever, but they can take some sun. So there's the dragon wing begonias, all those different types. So to me, this always reminds me of my grandmother. She always had begonias and things like that. So it's a little bit of a plant. New Guinea impatiens. So there are some New Guineas that want full sun, and there are some that can take shade. So just make sure you look at the tag when you're buying them. Since we're no longer doing impatiens, y'all heard about that? Okay, so a few years ago, there was a disease that was coming out with all the impatiens. I guess some nurseries got it, and it was spread from whenever you watered, the drop of water got out on one plant, and it got to another plant. Then it was spreading this kind of mildewy type stuff. So for a while there, they were taking impatiens off the market. I saw them all back last year, but I know it was a big concern because they didn't know if this was going to affect all the impatient crops going on in the U.S. So just be wary when you buy them if they start to look really bad and kind of like they have root rot and things like that and just turn black. That might be what happened. So if that happens, I would recommend taking it to the extension office. They can send it off, see if it has this disease, and then if it does have that, they recommend you not plant impatiens there for a good 5 to 7 years. So I don't want to worry you. Impatiens are a old-timey favorite, but this is something that happened recently, like what, in the last 2 to 3 years? So yeah. All right, coleus. I love coleus. Look at all these different colors and combinations. It's a nice plant to have with your mixed beds and things. Some can take full sun, some only need a shade. You just have to look when you're buying them. And I like to snip these and get them to grow a little bit bigger, but I feel like they add a nice different, texture and things like that to your containers and beds. All right, so this is a different one. This is trailing plum coleus. Look at that nice pink color. It looks like it's next to like a sweet potato vine or something, and they just play really well off of it. Sheep's claw, I don't know, I can't say it well. I had this one year, did okay. It wasn't my favorite, but I think because I had it in a bad spot, but it's really pretty when the pink comes out in the middle of the leaves. I think I had it in too much shade, or too much sun. And so it just didn't get that pink color.
Can I ask a question on the one right before that? You had an extra sweet potato bun. Doesn't that have to have full sun? Sweet potato?
I don't know if it was a sweet potato vine. It looked like it, so. It's that sweet potato, that chartreusey color. It actually could be another coleus with that leaf right there. Okay. This is sun and shade plants, so maybe part sun, part shade, depending on the conditions. All right, so I guess I skipped and went through those.
Go ahead.
But, oh, well, maybe, I don't know. I guess maybe that didn't put them in there. I'll go to the next one. All right, so part shade, that would be some of your New Guineas and things like that, different things. So let's move to the cool season. Okay, cabbages, ornamental cabbages. Do y'all have these out right now?
Yeah.
Mine got so much rain. I came back after Christmas and had mold growing on my cabbages, so I had to pull them out. So, you know, but they do really well. They add a lot of nice color and things. Cabbages and kales are some of the great things to put in the cool season. However, we had so much rain and it was really warm in December, mine didn't do well, so I had to replant them. Pansies, of course, staple of your cool seasons. Mine are doing well, except when it gets really cold, they kind of. Violas, Johnny Jump Ups too. They have those wave kind of ones right now. Is anybody playing those?
Yeah, they haven't waved.
They haven't waved.
They haven't waved.
Not that. One Bodie Denise who does like all the flowers and things. She told me that these do better in your containers.
Yeah.
So I've done both. I like both. So. Okay, here we go. Your cool wave pansies and violas. So they haven't done this? No?
They're in cotton containers too.
Yeah. So I bought some this year and they waved too much to the point where I thought they were going to pop out of the container. And so, but of course it's through all the rain and things, but this is so pretty. I mean,
Yeah, that is pretty.
Snapdragons, like I said, I would rather plant them in the beginning and have them out, and then at the end, I don't think they do really well in like that January, February times. So, but they always remind me of Disney World because every time I went there in the winter, they had beautiful snapdragons. All right, here's some of your huge cabbages right here. And look at that with the nice grass that's fading out. So. Bulbs, tulips are more of an annual in Georgia. They just don't see, it doesn't get so cold for them to come out and come back the next year. So. They're beautiful, but you're probably only going to get 1 year out of tulips here. So this was at Biltmore. I took those pictures. Really pretty. I mean, it gets nice and cold up in Asheville. So.
I have a question. I just saw something on Biltmore the other day. They showed, I knew they planted them. They planted like 6, I'm a big tulip person, I love tulips. They plant 6 bulbs, butted up against each other in one place so they kind of come out like bouquets. But they showed them that they're planting them in the pot and then planting the pot.
And that could be, so the pots are obviously going to get colder than the ground temperature. And if, you know, because if you keep all your pots out, then it's going to give them that really cold. I mean, this year I don't know what the actual temps were, but obviously your pots are going to get colder, and they could have maybe even chilled them someplace too to make sure they're going to bloom like that. So, however, digging all those pots up out of the ground to me would drive me crazy. But maybe mixed in after their tulips, they're going to have all their daffodils mixed in with them too. They, you know, a lot of times when you do your bulbs, you layer them by what's going to come first and second and stuff. So that could be why they do this also. All right, so this was taken at Bouchard this summer. They have, you know, some coleus. See, those marigolds are beautiful. Those are the ornamental peppers mixed in. So just some combinations for you all to see how, you know, a little purple mixed in right there with the yellow. I'm going to have them layered and scattered throughout. I love this one. It's my favorite. I'm just like a Dusty Miller fanatic, I guess. So they have that mixed in. I think that might be some foliage too with the marigolds. This is over by where you eat lunch, and they have, I mean, it's just a beautiful suite. Behind this, they have the rose garden, and they have every rose winner from when that started, so you can go through and see from like 19 whatever to 2016 every rose winner for the year. So. This is at one of my master gardener gardens in DeKalb. They have these swamp sunflowers, cannas. If you've ever grown canna, you know they can be a little bit invasive, but they're really pretty. And then these kind of look like some daylilies and regular irises in here. They have these different ones. Excuse my husband right there, but we got in my shop. But look at these containers, they're so pretty, and I love how they did more black down here, and your greens and your reds up top. Those baskets were just, oh my God, so pretty. All right, so do you all ever do this? If you don't have enough rocks or you have a small pot, instead of all, watering it and all the soil falling out, I'll put a coffee filter in the bottom of it, and that helps keep it. So when you water it, and sometimes in the smaller pots, all the soil just falls out. I'll put a coffee filter in the bottom so it can still leak out, but all my soil doesn't come out. This works really well in those small pots when you don't really have room to put any rocks or anything like that in there. So I'll just put that coffee filter in there. Like I said, the marigolds, they're used to deter insects, especially around your vegetables and things. They say they excrete pyrethrums. What do we do with pyrethrums? We use them to get rid of pests. More organic way, I guess. All right, then I'm going to start them with vegetables. And then you all ever do this? Who grows vegetables? These are, have cabbages, all these things, these squash bugs. Try your nasturtiums, zinnias with your tomatoes and peppers and beans. Get rid of those white flies and things. So, something to look on, and then you can have your flowers and your pretty vegetables. All right. Say you're planting petunias with cucurbits, but I don't know how well that works. I've tried it before. I still have some of those.
What are cucurbits?
It's like your cucumbers and squashes and things like that. Cucurbits. What else would be? I'll go down, I think. Yeah. Geraniums. This is a all-the-time plant. My girl are always planting geraniums. Corn and peppers. And then petunias with your cucumber. Okay, perennials. Does anybody have big perennial gardens in here? A lot of you all. I am not an expert on perennials, and I only have so many. I mean, my yard is like smaller than the size of this yard. It's really tiny. So, but I love perennials. These are nice because I feel like you get more bang for your buck. Take care of them. They're going to keep coming back. So they do require a little bit more maintenance though than your annuals would. This is bleeding heart. We'll ever planted this. It's called bleeding heart. It's I think it's native to Georgia. No, it's native to Tennessee. But when it opens, it's really good. All right, so perennials, you have your woody ones. They're more shrubby trees. Herbaceous, those are more what I consider perennials, the soft tissue type perennials to grow. I'm going to go over herbaceous today, not any of the really woody shrubby ones. All right, so preparing your bed for perennials is kind of the same as your annuals. However, these would be in there a little bit longer, so definitely if you're going to have a bed, I would definitely soil test, try to get the pH right to make sure that they're going to thrive in those soils. This is Hucrus. You know Hucrus? Yeah. Huh? Coral. Yeah, coral, Hucrus, coral wells, yeah.
Futura.
I'm sorry?
Futura.
Oh, I've always called it Hucrus. I guess it's you, depending on where you're from. So plant in fall or early spring is up to you. Obviously, some of these are bulbs, so you would want to plant them in the fall. I tend to plant all my bulbs in November. I think October it could be a little bit warm, but deadhead after blooming. And again, fertilize 888 or 10-10-10 kind of thing. Eventually, I know, especially with hostas and daylilies, you're going to want to divide them. So these, you can see, there's a couple of shoots with each one. Hostas can get huge, so at some point, if you don't have a lot of space, you're going to want to divide them. So that can be in the fall, it can be in the spring, it's up to you. So I like it in the fall to kind of get them rooted before spring comes out. So. But that's pretty easy. If you've ever divided, just kind of take it and cut it up. Try not to kill any of them when you're doing it. So.
What about bulb division?
Bulb division?
Or separating
Like rhizome type bulb?
like daffodils? You ever split them up and big ones? You store them season or do you?
I mean, I usually just keep them in the ground and they come back every year after year. So.
You don't ever have to divide them?
No. Does anybody else divide their daffodil bulbs? I mean, I guess if they.
That's how you get them for free.
Well, I always like them. I mean, I've never divided them before, but I mean, you can.
The rule of thumb I've always heard is every 3 years or so, you should dig your daffodils up and separate them and then replant them. That's just the rule I've heard. I don't know that it works for me, but I don't always do it every 3 years.
I'm just like happy that they come back every year and they look nice, so I've never divided them before. So.
You'll have lots of daffodils though.
Yeah, I guess if they start to look too bad, I would do that. But I know definitely in hostas and daylilies, they get so huge, I have to divide them after a while. So, perennials, sun loving, shade loving. You know, your hostas might be able to take some sun, but not as many. But I think that is it. The lighter color ones would make more sense. I don't know. So, all right. All right, so Achillea yarrow, y'all ever plant this? I love this plant. I especially love the fern leaf type. This is the color that I have for mine. The only problem is it gets tall and then it flops over. So I tried to plant it in between two raised beds to kind of, anchor it. But it has a nice appeal, and then I cut it back and it comes back, and fills in that space. So, but most of the time you'll see more of the yellows and golds, but if you can get your hands on the pink, I love the pink. Ajuga, very nice ground cover, more shady spots. So if you have grass that won't grow, but you want something in a nice spot, I recommend Ajuga. It has this nice purple color to it. It does really well in shade, and it has some small blue flowers, but I planted more for the foliage. Candy tuft. Some of these perennials in college I had to do a report on, so I included them in there. Candy tuft was one of them. It's nice white flowers in many different colors, but it can handle some shade. So if you like rock gardens and you all have rock gardens in here, you can put some candy tuft in. Coreopsis. Tall, but loves some full sun, nice yellow flowers. I would recommend Coreopsis. Any of y'all have Coreopsis? Yeah. Have any problems with it?
The deer are eating around here, which they did not in Colorado. I found that.
Deer, yeah, pretty much.
Well, they don't in Colorado. They were one of the preferred deer resistant plants.
Oh, really? Anybody else have any problems with their Coreopsis?
Deer.
Deer?
Yeah, in my house, they don't eat it.
It depends on what they want in your yard or not. Yeah, deer can be a big problem. Luckily, I have a fenced-in yard in the city, so I don't have the deer problems, but my parents live in Nashville, and they can barely plant anything because of the deer, so. Delphiniums, I love them. You have space for something tall, these delphiniums, also called larkspur. Some people say they reseed, but to me, this is just beautiful, so I wouldn't mind if they reseeded. Kind of reminded me of foxglove. I don't know how well foxglove does here, but Dianthus, I always call this cheddar pinks, but people call it Dianthus, great for borders, rock gardens, different colors, bloom, sorry, spring and early summer will bloom. Callianthus, swamp sunflower already. They didn't use, we have the space, so.
In the farm.
Vigorous, full sun though, I mean, look how big that is. That was also what was in that Scott garden, one of my master gardeners, they grew those, so they do really well.
Is that the same as Mexican sunflower?
I think there could be a variety called that, so, but yeah, they get really big. There's all different varieties of swamp sunflowers, so. Hellebores, if you've been out, you'll see a lot of these blooming, also called Lenten roses because they're bloom during Lent. That's where that name came from. Yellow, I don't see as much. I see more of like the rosy, pinkish white ones. In my landscape design classes, they always said if you have, a rock wall, like a retaining wall, to plant them on the edge, so then when you walk by, you can kind of see the blooms. Sometimes they hang down so much, you don't see the blooms as well. So if you have a retaining wall, it's nice to plant them up there. So, and then they have evergreen foliage, so, but they're really, really nice plants to have, especially when you have shade, and in the winter when not much is blooming, so. Daylilies, I know y'all seen daylilies, they're everywhere in different colors. I picked up a nice, like, deep purpley pink one at Goodness Grove. Still ever go there near Athens? I'm not sure. They have lots of different daylilies, different colors, pretty maintenance-free. I do, once the blooms die off, I do trim the stems back, but they do really well. I take all the sun and everything.
Where did you say? Yeah, where did you say?
Goodness Grove. It's a nursery near Athens, Watkinsville area. They have just like daylilies galore. So, has anybody been there? No. But they have like some pinks, some things, colors you wouldn't normally see, like oranges and yellows.
Gibbs Gardens at the end of the season has great eyes on them too.
Oh, Gibbs? No. I've only been to Gibbs once, but that's really close to y'all.
Yeah, it is.
So, because that's what, exit 12, I think you would take, where would it go? Oh, that was,
Did we miss one?
that was daily?
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
go back, go for it, sorry. Okay, Cucura, what do you call it, Cucura?
I call it a cherub. I'm not
Cucura,
sure what that
coral bells. I have like a nice little coral bells garden. I have a part of my yard that's very shaded and like a little fountain area. I love these, many different colors. You have your dark reds and your more caramel colors, the chartreuse colors. They send these little flower spikes up, but I plant them more for the foliage than the little tiny spikes. So, hostas, it's kind of a southern favorite. Great for shade. Definitely not in the afternoon sun. I have some in some morning sun, but they tend to get burned a little bit towards the end of the season. So, if you have deer, I'm guessing you're not so.
you're selling.
All right, iris. I'm a big fan of the iris hybrids. However, I've got many calls this year that their irises are already blooming. So enjoy it while you can, because you're not going to get it later on this summer. So, take care of them like you normally do. Full sun. The other ones can take, these are more of the bearded type ones. They're really pretty. I've always loved irises. Anybody grow irises yet? Any of y'all bloom already?
Yes.
The yellow has, the purple has.
Yeah, I've had a lot of comments about this. I'm sorry. So,
When do you recommend buying them?
I would do them more in the fall. So after they bloom.
And would you feed them as they begin to come up with bloom?
You could, but I would feed them maybe early spring, depends on what kind and when they're blooming. Then it depends on what kind and when they're blooming. So as they start to come up, if they're going to put a little grain up, then I might shoot some fertilizers on. So peonies. I know a lot of people love these in their wedding days. Mine did not bloom this year, probably because I neglected them. But they're really pretty. Huh?
I thought peonies love neglect.
Well, I don't know. I planted mine and they hated me. They didn't bloom at all. So I could be having them in the wrong spot. I don't know. It was kind of one of those. I bought it and I forgot I had them, and then I planted them, and so. But I planted them at the right time. They just didn't bloom. But they're really pretty when they do bloom. So any y'all have peonies? I guess you do. Yeah. So.
They don't like to be moved, and
Well, see, I thought about moving in, so maybe I won't move in. Maybe it'll come for me this year. So phlox. I love phlox. I mean, when it's blooming, it's gorgeous. Look at this, nice, sweet. This is actually my yard. This was the first year I planted phlox right here, and now it covers all of this. So when it blooms, it's gorgeous. But when it's not blooming, it's kind of not that great. But it holds the soil in there and stuff. So if you have phlox, I love phlox. I love phlox. Purple cone flowers, love purple cone flowers. They do great. They can take the sun. They attract pollinators. The red, I don't think does quite as well as the traditional purple, but they're beautiful. They do great. I can't say anything really bad about them. So, yeah.
is that the same as echinacea? Like you see those, yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's just
It's an herb as well.
Yes, I've never actually used the herb type part for it, but I'm guessing, I don't know if that's in that area. I guess how they get the herb from it.
It's fine, just a question.
Yeah. But yeah, echinacea is the botanical name, just like the next one. Rudbeckia, this is called black-eyed Susan. So to me, those and purple cone flowers kind of go hand in hand. You can plant them next to each other. Most of the time you see the oranges and the gold from this one. So also pollinator, full sun, does great in Georgia. Shasta daisies. I like to plant all of these tall ones together. These come in various different heights though. Some are really low growing, some are really tall, look like a daisy. Don't really have any complaints from those either. Also grow in full sun. Okay, so we just got this presentation from winter school in January. So this is new stuff. I didn't put this presentation together, Bodie Panisi did, so I'm going to go ahead and give her all the credit for this. But I wanted to show you all some of these things. I think we're doing really well. Okay, so I just went ahead and bolded all the stuff I thought you all might want to read or see. This is begonia, a new one. These are all tested at the trial gardens of UGA. Have you all been there? They test all these kind of flowers at the trial gardens on campus next to the Smelling Mountain Hall. Have you been there? So I know a lot of these times they're tested there and then they're put out on the market. They kind of grade them and judge them and see what's good. And a lot of different universities did this. I went to Tennessee. They do trials. They're the ones that trial that for wave petunia and things like that. So these are different ones that just came out. This is begonia baby wing bicolor. If any of you all like begonias, I like this because it's variegated. She said they're compact, 20 to 22 inches in height, brighter than others, and unique two-tone colors. So you might see these on the market this year.
What is lodging? Lodging in the park?
Oh, do you ever see plants that kind of like a part of it will just, fall and part of it still stays upright, that kind of thing. Caladiums. Do y'all grow caladiums? Yes, definitely. This is debutante. So that kind of, sometimes caladiums get heavy and they fall over. These say they were pretty sturdy, white leaves, and deep green veins, but I guess the best color is they become reddened as the season goes on. So y'all are really quiet today. Okay, again, my favorite ornamental peppers. This is Basket of Fire. So less than 12 inches. I like these because they have white, and a lot of times I don't see the white very
Yeah, that
often.
shows up good in there.
So this is a new one. Yeah. And they say if you eat it, you'll understand. I've never recommended anybody eating the ornamental peppers, but I guess.
So these stay real hot, real hot sun.
Yeah, I've always seen them in just full sun. So to me, you know, people think they're grown to be edible, but I just think they're a nice, unusual plant, and they kind of, you know, spark a conversation. So, do you have a question?
Actually, you can grow a variety of different ornamental peppers, and most of the time the capsaicin level is higher than what you would find at the grocery store that would be deemed suitable for humans.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they call them ornamentals.
Okay.
They are completely edible. It depends on your tolerance level, not really, are they edible or not, it's your tolerance level, which is part of the problem.
Oh, yeah, well, don't eat them. That's all right. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to. So, I mean, I would say that recommend you with seeds if you're going to eat them.
We have dragonfly cayens, and the peppers only get about this big. They're hybrid, you can buy root grower. That's where we ended up with our first set a couple of years back, and I thought they were great whenever we pickled and canned, just for a few of them. Bolivian rainbow peppers, itty bitty, cute little shrubs growing house, little Christmas tree ones. They're very, very similar to whatever we're growing.
Yeah.
It's overwintered in the house, and it's already getting ready to start.
So do you grow for food, or do you grow?
Because they're pretty and they're edible. So I kind of like, we didn't cover enough space, so everything had to be over.
Oh.
And that was a good way to add color and still be able to get some.
What about the black pearl? Because those look more like tiny tomatoes.
I didn't try those in particular yet. I'm sure they're in the catalog that we work on. We used seeds. Pepper Joe's actually is out of South Carolina.
Oh.
And they do organics. So we're able to get the seed scorpions and the Carolina newer peppers. They're breeding to get hotter. And everybody knows the best pepper. They're far more than that.
That's interesting. I learned something new. So, yeah, I knew you could probably eat them. I just never recommended it. And
They
now,
are in very small doses. If you don't have the tolerance, even a real
yeah. All right, so this is a different, this is a New Guinea. These can take sun. So this is, they said it did well in the blazing hot Georgia sun. So that's why when you buy your New Guineas, make sure you're getting ones for what kind of site you have. They said they had pink blooms throughout the summer, and you know some things that do go in the sun by the end of the summer, they're just, but they withstood heavy rain, wind, all other kind of conditions. So it's impressive to keep their blooms down. All right, these are my favorite. I got a bunch of these last year, more in the pink kind. This one is the Violet Star Charm. It's a proven winners type plant. Small white flowers with violet stripes. I love these because they're kind of whimsical. I like more whimsical plants. Probably why I like the peppers a lot, and like gomphrena and all that kind of stuff. Have y'all seen this out? I've seen this in the market. Yeah, with these nice fan-like flowers. What does it say? It's wowing us all summer. So y'all are kind of the first to see these. This was just shown to us a couple weeks ago.
Are they clumps? It's kind of hard to.
It's a trailing.
Yeah, I
okay,
mean,
so
Trails.
it's closed.
Yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry, I gotta step back. So this one says it's compact mass, so that might be why it's a little different, it's not like the other ones. So she had another picture and there was this purple mixed with pink and stuff, and I think they were all different plants together. So basically you've seen this plant before, this is just a new variety of it, yeah. All right, this is a coleus. So she said campfire was maintenance free and orangey red leaves.
What do you call
Wait, did you remember? Yeah. I mean, 3 to 3.5 feet tall is big too, so. And all these new ones that I'm showing you, with the exception of some of them, mostly are all sun plants. You have shades. Okay, begonia, bada-boom, sorry. Look how bright and pretty that is. A lot darker than some of the other ones. She said this one was nice and compact, filled in better. She said it's their pick of 2015.
One of the good used to say that was in the Sopranos, didn't he say bada
Yes.
So something different is these leaves are more bronze color, so different than your other begonias that you usually see. Yeah. Good on. Oh, well, alright, I guess I have to do that. Okay, so y'all know I love this. This one has different colors though. The Las Vegas mix. So hold their color for a long period of time. And they do, however, if some of these plants, because they get so tall, they kind of fall over and they're all intertwined. But I love it. It's a little more whimsical. So if you like these plants, it's a nice mix. However, she said don't feed them too heavy or you'll just get a lot of vegetative growth. So.
I know you don't recommend places to buy plants, I don't think, but is there some place, I mean, obviously, Home Depot and Lowe's are probably not gonna have a huge mixture of people, I mean, a mixture of.
What I'll do when I want unusual things like this, either I can buy the seeds from a catalog. A lot of times I buy my plants at, we have a really great Ace Hardware in Decatur that, you know, has a really great, the garden manager really determines a lot of the things. So I have a great, I don't know if y'all have Ace Hardware with great landscape centers. I do a lot of shopping there. Hikes sometimes get them, I mean, they're pretty pricey, but if you do their Tuesday or Wednesday, tremendous Tuesday sales, you can get them a little cheaper. If not, if I can't find them, then I will just usually buy the seeds most of the time and try them like that. However, I'm lucky because I have access to some wholesale centers. So there's a place on Peachtree, Dunwoody. I know that's kind of far from you all. It's wholesale, but they do let customers come in, and the name is escaping me right now. Louise, do you remember when you worked in Fulton, that nursery on Peachtree, Dunwoody?
I'm not talking about Hastings.
No. I can't remember the name of it. It's driving me crazy. I haven't been there in a few years, but they had a lot of different ones. They were really into those rooftop garden things where you know you had a green roof, so they had a bunch of different stuff. But a lot of these type of things, I just go to specialty places. Your Lowe's and Home Depot are going to have your usual begonias, petunias, that kind of thing. So, if you know anybody in the industry, you can always ask them order it. Sometimes they sort of order things from you too. So sorry, I'm not familiar with what y'all have coming, but maybe a little bit more. And Big J Church too. Yeah, they have some good stuff on there. Alright. The Two New Whispers. So this one did really well. I love how dark pink that is. I think that was on my very first slide. A lot of blooms, if you can see, and has some dark in it. It's just different than your regular old plain pink petunias. So I just, my petunias, if I put them in that afternoon heat, they just seem to wither and not do super well. So you kind of got to get the right amount of sun for them because they don't like shade, but they kind of wither in the afternoon heat. Portulaca, it's also called ice plant. I've always thought this plant looked really weedy. It wasn't my favorite, but this is a new variety, so maybe it's a little bit better. Jen, you'll plant this plant. Does it look kind of weedy to y'all?
And the sun is it's only open during the daytime too, so we can
Well,
enjoy
yeah,
it.
so that's the thing, they open around 10 or 11, and they're, close up by 3 or 4. I guess because you don't see, I don't usually see the blooms because I'm at work, it's just you get all this kind of like foliage, and I just thought it always looked weedy, but, maybe it just will look better. So this is a nice fuchsia color with yellow center. I think the regular one doesn't have disease problems, this one doesn't either. So if you work, then you might not get to enjoy the flowers on the weekend. But I mean, that's kind of interesting. If you have kids or something, they can see the flowers that are flower.
Yeah.
This is another coleus, the dark one. They said green with purple veins. I like this kind of the dark colors. They're just different looking. So
Looks like different textured leaves too, which is nice.
yes. So that's why I do a lot of coleus, just for the texture and you know the term fillers, spillers, and fillers. Yeah. So those are good for that. And this one, really interesting foliage.
Huh.
So they say this one doesn't require a lot of pinching either. It's kind of full on its own. It doesn't have as many flowers that come up because once the flowers come, it kind of stops growing. So this one might be a good new one for you. Flamethrower, so it's very interesting looking. I liked this one a lot. I'm going to try to look for it when I can. But I'm partial to chartreuse anyways.
What does that mean? You can shear it and it pops back.
You can just cut it back, I guess. So there's any form, size, or shape that you would like. So you need to move to it. So. All right, that's it. I went through that fast because y'all didn't ask any questions. Y'all have any questions for me? I know Louise wants to go through your test for me. Any questions about annuals for notes? Yes.
Do you think the old-time impatiens are going to come back?
I saw them all throughout the garden centers last year. However, when that disease first came on, it was, I guess they called it some sort of mildewy disease. They said in 2017, 18, they were like, we don't know if we'll have any patients by then. So I don't know if they got it under control. They found out, I haven't heard a whole lot about it, but it started with some nurseries and it spread so easily because if I water one that's infected and that drop of water gets on another one, it infects that one. So, when I first heard about it, I didn't see many impatiens in the stores at all.
I didn't either.
And then last year I saw more of them, but I saw more of them more at like the Home Depots and Lowe's, and they're just selling what the consumers like.
They did okay in hanging baskets, but I was scared to put them back in the flower beds, you know?
Yeah, I mean, because they say once you have it and you put it in your beds, then you can't plant impatiens there again for like 7 years or something like that. So we got a lot of calls asking what can they plant. I recommended New Guineas. But I don't know. I haven't heard a lot about it from any of our people at Athens or Griffin, so
Okay.
I don't know. It's kind of like, I mean, there's a lot of diseases out there. I'm sure y'all heard of the boxwood blight and stuff. Yes.
A friend to the landscape course recommended when you want to save on potting soil to take like gallons and scrunch them all up and put them in the bottom of your planters. And then fill the dirt from there, so you get some air at the bottom, you get some.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you heard of that?
Which one's milk gallons?
Yeah,
No.
gallon jug, empty gallon jug, or half gallon jug.
Water and milk.
Yeah, I mean, anything really. I mean, they, of course, recommend rocks. You can do the packing peanuts. I try to do rocks just so they'll kind of drain in there, but I know people do the plastic, even plastic bottles and things like that, so. Yes.
Yeah, how often do you fertilize perennials?
How often do I fertilize which plants?
Perennials.
Perennials? You kind of need to read which perennial you have because it's different for all of them. Like they said, one up here, I said it didn't want a lot of fertilizing, or it was just gonna the gomphrena, because it's just gonna be vegetative. So I always try to give them a shot of fertilizer in the spring before they come out. And if it's like a long blooming plant, then I'll come back, you know, and give them another one. But it's really depending on which perennial you have. It's kind of like roses. Every variety is different, and everyone needs a different type of care. So yeah. I also try to soil test with my perennials though, because I don't know how heavy of a feeder they are. So every spring I want to soil test too and see what nutrients they might be lacking also. So.
I have a question about for the class and you as well about geraniums. I love geraniums and we've always had them in pots on the porch and this and about 3 years ago we were down we were passing through. We weren't at Seattle studying the cloisters. We were passing through and one lady had probably half the size of this room geraniums planted in the ground. It was beautiful.
In Seattle?
No,
down
in Florida.
In Jekyll Island.
I saw that when I was at.
Cloisters, yeah. So I came back and for the last 4 summers, I have planted geraniums in my front flower bed because they're so full and they really fill up and they do great. And I pull them up, put them in the garage and winter them and put them back out in the spring. And I don't see anybody else putting geraniums in their yard.
I mean, I wouldn't have done it because of the soil we have, and I was thinking.
Well, I've been mending the soil for 20 years.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, because if you think about all the soil at Jekyll and stuff, it's so different than ours. So I feel like if people are just going to put them in clay, it's not going to do as well. But yeah, I always saw my grandmother always had them in pots and containers, never saw them in the yards. So that's interesting. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I saw that when we went to St. George's Island.
I've seen big swaths of them in golf courses.
Mm-hmm. And you think about in golf courses though, how their soil is heavily amended and things. So I guess if you're gonna amend that soil really, really well, then they'll probably do really good.
But she's pulling them up in the winter, so that's probably key for us here.
Yeah. So questions? Anything? All right. Well, it was good to see y'all. I
Thank you very much, Sarah. And thank you for coming all the way out through our traffic.